I'm not alone, I'm not alone, I'm not alone, I'm not alone. I forgot for a minute who I belong to. The Mama Earth, the wind and rain, the beauty and the pain. I'm not alone, for me the world was created. I'm not alone, to dust I will return. I'm not alone, 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 I'm not alone. I forgot for a minute who I belong to. The Mama Earth, the wind and rain, the beauty and the pain. I'm not alone, for me the world was created. I'm not alone, to dust I will return. I'm not alone, I'm not alone, I'm not alone, I'm not I'm not alone, 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 I'm not alone. I forgot for a minute who I belong to. Mama Earth, the wind and rain, the beauty and the pain. I'm not alone, for me the world was created. I'm not alone, to dust I will return. I forgot for a minute who I belong to. The Mama Earth, the wind and rain, the beauty and the pain. I'm not alone, for me the world was created. I'm not alone, to dust I will return.
Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Audra Friend. I'm the Digital Communications Data and Technology Specialist with the UUA's Side of Love staff team. I'm a fat white woman with dark black hair, kind of brushed to one side. I'm wearing black eyeglasses with little pearls on top and a black sort of peasant style dress with rhinestone, like evil eye totem earrings and necklace for tonight. I want to thank you all for joining us. And as we begin, I'd like to encourage all of you to breathe in, bring all of who you are. And I pass to Reverend Dr. Sofía Betancourt, UUA President.
Thank you, Audra. I am the Reverend Dr. Sofía Betancourt. It is my privilege, my profound privilege, to serve as president of your Unitarian Universalist Association. And I'm so grateful that we can be together in this space on this evening. I am a relatively light-skinned Afro-Latinx woman. I am fat, proudly so. I have locks that cascade down my hair, but down my back, but they are pulled back. This evening, I am wearing black and white and gray. I'm wearing burgundy glasses and a headset. Really grateful to be with you. You can see a wider window into my office than usual, and you are welcome in this space. I'm going to physically light our chalice this evening as the symbol of our living tradition For those of you who identify as Unitarian Universalists, my hope is that this shared symbol of our faith is a reminder of the strength of community, of our connections to one another, and of our legacy of providing sanctuary in difficult times. For those of you who are UU adjacent or just in space this evening, may this flame be a beacon of welcome as you are here and most welcome among us. As we begin, I want to invite us to turn to the love that lives at the center of this faith. We as a community draw on many aspects of strength, on our ancestors, on the elders that have gone before us, on our very best hopes for humanity and human living, on the God or gods of our understandings, on the commitments that call us forward morning by morning and day by day. In the name of all that we hold holy, may we open our hearts to connection, to possibility, to resilience, to liberation, to collective power, and to strength that can never be taken away from us. I want to acknowledge that we come into this space with a range of emotions, anything from anger to strain, to sadness, to fear, to numbness, to worry, perhaps even to relief for being in community in this evening. May we honor the range of how we arrive in this space. May we leave room for each other's realities, perspectives, lived experiences, and return to joy. This is one of the things of my living tradition, is that joy does come back to us eventually, even as we pause to fully experience and honor the space that we are currently in. May we make room, beloveds, for all those who are especially in harm's way, as we think to what we have already been told, what has been literally promised about the ways those in our beloved community will be targeted in these times. May we hold the reality that these recent events do not impact us all in the same ways. I'm thinking particularly of our transgender, gender nonconforming, and binary beloveds. This evening, I'm thinking of migrants, immigrants. I'm thinking of people with disabilities. I'm thinking of people in need of reproductive justice. I'm thinking of people who are organizing and fighting for the liberation of Palestine. I'm thinking of those who are being blamed for the outcome of last night's election. I'm thinking of those who have long been blamed for the ways that our nation turns in times like these. I'm thinking of those who have been told once again that their leadership is not welcome, is not worthy. I am thinking of all of those who feel less safe today than they did yesterday. I am thinking of all of those who have never felt safe, who have so much to teach us of what it means to be survivors, to be those who thrive in days like these. I also ask that we hold our hearts open, particularly to all those who are holding others in this evening, in the days to come. Those who are organizing, those who are providing care, those who are doing the unsung labor, those who are feeding children, those who are teaching and leaning and learning and striving, all those who are making more room for the life, wholeness, sacredness, and sacrality of all people and all beings. As we enter this space, may we hold each one of us holy. May we hold our loved ones holy. If we have it in us, may we hold those who have put us in this position holy. And if we do not have it in us, may we leave it to those with more strength than we are carrying in this night. May love be at the center of all we do, and may it continue to carry us through the organizing, the fighting, the resilience of the days ahead. Amen. Ashe. And blessed be. I want to pass us back to Audra.
Thank you. Again, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Audra Friend, the Digital Communications, Data, and Technology Specialist with the Side with Love Organizing Strategy staff team. It's one of the staff teams at the Unitarian Universalist Association. We organize on the Side with Love, and our 4 priorities are democracy and voting rights, climate justice, bodily autonomy, which includes reproductive, trans, LGBTQ, and disability justice, and decriminalization. In these times, it's important we are together and I'm so glad we are here and you were able to join us. As we begin our event tonight, I want to just run through some community agreements about how we're going to be here together. It matters how we show up, and we know so much is moving within and between us today. So tonight, I invite you to bring your full self. We will share our space, engage with intention, honor our individual and collective dignity. We will use nonpartisan language. This means we are not discussing candidates or political parties. Can I have the next slide, please? Chat will be toggled on and off throughout this event to ensure that everyone here can be present. As we go through the event, please take what is useful for you and feel free to ignore anything that isn't. Be kind to our presenters and participants. And please remember our shared values of interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, and equity. We will have breakout space tonight. They will open later in this evening, but just so you all can be aware of it, we will have a breakout space for trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming. We have an explicitly Black space. We have a SWANA space, Southwest Asian and North African, a Black, Indigenous, and/or people of color space, folks with disability space, and a quiet room which is open to all. Additionally, we have chaplains available throughout tonight's event. If you need pastoral care at any point, send a message to *tech support-Amy Kent, and Amy will assign you to a chaplain and a breakout space. You can contact Amy by choosing her name in the chat field. When it's activated, there's a little drop down that says everyone, and then you can select Amy. We will open these breakout rooms after we do our gathering space, gathering practice, and our breakout rooms will also close about 5 minutes, close before our closing prayer, and we will remind folks about 5 minutes before that happens. And I just want to tell you a little bit about the flow of tonight's program. We've had our prayer from Reverend Dr. Sofía Betancourt. I'm doing our little orientation. We will have a grounding and embodied practice. After that, we will have all the breakout space will be open. We'll have a meeting the moment portion with Reverend Ashley Horan, and then You, the Vote, and Work in Our Field from Nora Rasman and Reverend Lisa Garcia Sampson. We'll have an introduction to our Community Resilience Hub with Lillian Drab-Braddock, an overview and send-off of resources and support by Nicole Presley, and then a closing prayer with Reverend Sofía Betancourt. Thank you again for your time with us, and I'm going to pass along to Kathy and Renwa and Rachel.
Thank you, Audra. I am Reverend Kathy Ryan-Starr. I serve as our Leadership Development Specialist with Side with Love, and I am in my home office with some plants and a blanket and some pictures on the walls. I have pale skin, brown hair, glasses, short brown hair, and I'm wearing a plaid shirt, and I am holding my cello. It's been a day. It's been a week, it's been a year, it's been a lifetime. And as we continue to arrive in this space, we want to give you a few moments, probably about 5 minutes, to help yourself arrive in your body, in this shared space, in what it is that you need right now. On your screen, you see me with my cello, you see Reverend Renwa in their home office, and the third visual is a flaming chalice. So we invite you in this time to do what you need. If you haven't eaten today, if you haven't drunk enough water, perhaps you use this time to go nourish your physical body. If what you need is to drink in the music, close your eyes and receive that, do that. Renwa will be doing some some motions to get into your body. If that's what you need right now, you can follow Renwa, or you can listen to your own body and do what your body is calling to do. Maybe you want to color. Maybe what you need to do is scream the F word over and over and over again. And if that's what you need, do it. So I invite you into a time of arrival, of presence, of listening to where you are and what you need in this moment. Join me in a spirit of arrival.
And we know we are all coming here today with a myriad of feelings felt, a myriad of thoughts thunk. In this moment, we invite you to hold the complexity of all that we are. And in a moment, we will put on your screen a feelings wheel. How are you arriving today? With everything that we have heard and experienced in the last 24 hours, in the last week, the last month, and the last year. How are you arriving today? Our chat will open and we invite you to drop in any feelings that you see on the feelings wheel or any other feelings that you would like to bring into the space to be held in love. I love you in your numbness.
I love you in your grief and anger.
I love you in your confusion and your bewilderment.
I love you in your anxiety and depression.
I love you in your exhaustion and in your despair.
I love you in your helplessness, in your exhaustion.
I love you in your fear and in your grief.
I love you in your gratitude and your discouragement.
I love you in your resilience and in your concern.
I love you in your fury and your terror.
I love you in your foolishness and in your sense of inadequacy.
I love you in your readiness and your shame.
I love you in your hopefulness and in your rejection.
I love you. I love you. I love you. These were the words that Jacaren Oloya shared for 2 minutes at our General Assembly this past June after a barrage of transphobic comments in a general session. And it is with her blessing that we bring you this ritual of reminding you that you are loved, of saying that I love you. In all of these feelings in the chat, those we have named, those that we see in the chat and we're not able to name, we hold one another together. This is how we get through. And as we close our blessing, we invite you into a ritual of community. And so, Jolanda, if you will unspotlight all of us, and I invite you, if you are able, to put yourself in gallery view. And we invite you to look at someone in the Zoom room and say to them, I love you. And then find someone else in the Zoom room and say, I love you. We will be doing this on mute, but we can see one another. If you cannot see, a few of us will be saying, I love you, out loud and off mute, and we invite you to say these words, to offer your spirit to each other as a way of connecting in this space of nearly 600 beloveds. Dear ones, I love you. 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 Yes, indeed, we can say it with our hands as well. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love the ways you are adapting this with your hands, dear ones. Let us continue for another minute to share the love. I love you. 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 If you're able to scroll across what on my computer is 24 screens of beloveds, drink in the beauty of these many, many, many beloveds connected here together, because if we know anything, it is that we need one another. When we center love, we tell each other, I love you. And we make that love real in the world. Beloveds, I love you. Will you join me in one final, loud in your body or in your voice or soft together? I love you. I see tears. I see hearts. I see 600 people gathered today. And so, dear ones, let us talk a bit about this day that has shaped up in a way that we were not expecting, and here we are together. So at this point, you have a choose your own adventure. If you would like to go into one of those breakout groups that Audra talked about earlier, they are opening now. You can click on join a breakout room in the bar and find the one for your identity. We do not have all identities there. Bear with us and just please go with the ones that are there. Transparent facilitation team, do we have an additional women's space happening and where there was a request for that?
Yes.
Okay, so there's an addition of a women's identity space for those who wish, an inclusive women's space. So if that is calling you, you may do that now. Everyone else who wishes to hear some making sense of where we are, I'm going to pass it to our amazing Reverend Ashley Horan.
Thank you, beloved. Hello, my people. I'm so grateful to be here. I am the Reverend Ashley Horan. I am the UUA's Vice President for Programs and Ministries. I am a fat, white, queer femme with long red hair, red lipstick, and a red shirt. I am in front of a gallery wall with a cobalt blue background tonight. I use she and her pronouns. Friends, this morning we awoke to the undeniable reality that our country's religious and political right, their decades-long strategy to sow fear and division among us, to turn our communities against one another, that agenda prevailed last night on the electoral landscape. And of course, there were victories on important issues in state measures and in local races. But we today cannot deny that the politicians who will hold control of the presidency, of the Senate, perhaps of the House, have told us clearly their intent to target our communities and to further destabilize our democracy. I say that out loud because the realism is important, but I also say it because I am grateful that we are not unprepared for this moment. Both the Unitarian Universalist Association and our movements have been preparing. We've been planning for multiple scenarios, including this one, for a long time. We know that these election results mean even more threats against our beloveds, both within and beyond our congregations. I am talking especially about BIPOC folks, migrants, trans and non-binary and queer people, the disabled community, people with uteruses, more. We are already preparing to provide extra spiritual support and practical solidarity to those who are most at risk. That is work that we know how to do, that we are already deep in. And we're ready to strategize our next moves because it is imperative that we show up in our power as a religious community. They cannot have faith. It is ours. We will reclaim it and we will show up as people of faith, and we will continue to side with love because that is who we are. So my friends, now is the time to trust your leaders, to be in close communication with your local partners and your trusted co-conspirators. It's a time to prepare for the influx of people who will walk through your congregation's doors, seeking comfort and community and connection. It is also a moment for deliberateness, care, thoughtfulness, coordination. And it is going to be imperative for all of us, both individually and collectively, to reground in the spiritual practices and the organizing skills that we have been cultivating for so long. So tonight, we pause, we breathe, we hold one another close, and we ask, how will Unitarian Universalism meet this moment? Who are we called to be? What are our deepest values and commitments compelling us to do as this map of the terrain that lies ahead becomes focused, clear? A thing that gives me strength is knowing that we are a living tradition, which means that we are both the inheritors of complex and powerful historical legacies, and we are the stewards of a future yet to be imagined. Today, as it has always been, the unwavering love that is at the center of our faith is our greatest balm, our strongest shield, and our fiercest power. That love will both demand our rigorous action and offer us the wellspring of hope and courage that will equip us for that work in the times ahead. So, beloveds, we will hold our fear together. We will honor our rage and devastation and grief. We will hold one another ferociously and tenderly and faithfully. And then we will move deliberately. We will invest in trust. We will claim joy and rest and sustenance. We will resist en masse. We will fight fascism, and we will continue the struggle for democracy. We will continue to build our movements for justice. We are going to get clear. We are going to focus our efforts, and we will abandon distractions. We will create safe harbor for those in danger. We will leverage our resources. We will sharpen our skills and our analysis. We will act as if no person is disposable because they aren't. We will refuse the politics of division and despair. We will seek the wisdom of elders and of history. We will weave deeper connections with our neighbors. We will fight for our survival. And we will create the conditions of possibility for our thriving and our liberation. Beloveds, I am so grateful to be in it together with you. I love you.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Ashley. Hi, all. My name is Nora. I use she and her. I am a white woman with wavy brown hair and tortoise glasses. I am wearing a green blazer and I'm sitting in front of a number of indigo dye swatches and pieces of art. I am calling today from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is where I'm from and where I live. And just so glad to be with so many of you in the complexity and breadth of emotions that we are holding together. I'm a democracy strategist with Side with Love, and a large part of my work is holding the work of You, the Vote, alongside the incredible organizing and strategy team. And I am just, here we are, is kind of what I've been saying all day. So thank you for being here this evening. It's so good to be together. However you're arriving, I hope that you're finding something that nourishes you and tends to your spirit in the next few days and gives you the space to feel the grief and the rage and the resolve and whatever emotions that you've shared with us tonight. I hope it also, as Ashley talked about, the commitment and clarity, I hope that our commitment to go towards each other continues to grow and deepen in the days ahead. Many folks are probably familiar with abolitionist organizer Miriam Kaba's phrase, "Everything worthwhile is done with other people." And I was thinking about it in the context of our work of You, the Vote, because so much of the work that happened this year and has happened since the program started in late 2019 has brought us into relationship and hopefully deepened relationship that will fortify us and better prepare us for what is to come. In our work this year, we kept talking about what it meant to root our electoral work in a broader commitment to justice. And part of that meant how we discerned the partnerships, but part of it also was a worldview that understood our electoral strategies as one of many that we have to continue to practice and grow. Our work will bring us towards relationships that we forged this year, and for some folks have for years and decades, and hopefully to deepen our relationships with people who already are equipped and leading on community defense and decriminalization campaign work and abortion healthcare and disability justice. And I just want to spend a moment just to thank each of you who have shown up in whatever ways you have this year. UUs have been participating and holding pieces of key fights in so many places. And we're so grateful. Thank you to the organizers, the canvassers, the phone bankers, the letter writers, the postcarders, people who make the coffee, set up the chairs, staff the tables during coffee hour. That is truly the work to bring more of our people into it. Thank you for folks who have given generously of your time, of your resources, of your relationships. That's what we need. So tonight we gave thanks for the people who have been showing up collectively and knowing that new and deeper relationships will be what carry us forward in these next times. I want to give some thank you to folks who even in the last week have shown up in Colorado and Florida and Arizona and here in Milwaukee with me. And in all of those places, there were huge victories, and also there is extraordinary loss. And so holding that the relationships that we forged, even just in the last few weeks, it's my hope and intention that it brings us back to each other. With that, I would love to encourage and invite folks to tell us a little bit more about what you've done, not tonight, but in the days and weeks ahead. We know that our work isn't over, but we also understand the importance of honoring the work that has happened. And so Audra will drop in the chat. If you have been involved in democracy work broadly this year, we want to know about it. So let us know so we can better tell the collective story of our faith and so that we can be better prepared for what's ahead. With that, I'm going to kick it to Reverend Lisa, who is based in North Carolina, to share a little bit more about how they've been building and what might be next.
Thanks, Nora. Hi, everyone. I'm Reverend Lisa Garcia Sampson. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a 30-something-year-old white woman with short brown hair and a black shirt and a gray cardigan. And I proudly serve as the executive director of our UU Justice Ministry here in North Carolina. So last night, after a long, busy day at the polls, I pulled into my Airbnb that was right on the beach, just as the sun was beginning to set. And it was 80 degrees yesterday. And we were on the beach, so I threw on some shorts and some flip-flops, and within a couple of minutes, my feet were in the water, sinking into the sand. And for about 20 minutes, I just watched the sunset and felt the waves and reflected on this whole year. The early spring meetings with our partners, the postcards, the voter registration drives, and then the fall, the phone banking and the canvassing and the de-escalation trainings and the whole 9 yards. And like so many of you, we in North Carolina left it all on the field. And in that moment, as I was reflecting on the whole year, I felt a deep sense of peace in that truth and a deep, profound sense of pride in the way that we had contributed to our movement for justice this year. That moment, just standing there in the water, is something that I will never forget. And it is something that no election result will ever take away from me. The truth about who we are and who we belong to and the liberatory work of our movement, that, beloveds, has not changed. Yes, after last night, the threats we face have grown. The conditions have changed, but the measure of our movement was never the result of one election. And we have been saying that all along. We know that it is measured in the deepening of partnerships and trust and organizing and skills that cannot be taken away from us, and that has prepared us for whatever happens next. Let me give you a few examples of what that looks like here in North Carolina. Last Saturday, UU Justice NC had our last of 5 canvasses with our partners, North Carolina Asian Americans. Together, they go by NCAT. And last Saturday alone, with the help of our UU neighbors from All Souls, DC and Virginia and Maryland, we had 87 of us knocking on doors, on over 4,000 doors in Wake County last Saturday, and that alone is worth celebrating. But as we were preparing for that weekend of action, our partners at NCAT let us know about aggressive voter intimidation against their community at the polls. And it was out of that circumstance that within 24 hours, UUs worked with NCAT to organize a Joy to the Polls choir, a choir that brought new UU and Christian and Jewish and movement singers into our democracy work. And it was incredibly effective in bringing down the temperature at a site where incredible voter harassment and intimidation was happening. For 8 straight days, picture people that just days before had been screaming at each other, singing Emma's Revolution together. You cannot make this up. This strategy has now rippled into a new strategy for bringing joy and safety to our election certification days at County Board of Election sites where political violence remains a concern. And this experience has brought us much closer with our partners at NCAT as we enter into this next chapter in our state and whatever threats come next. That is what UU the Vote is all about. Additionally, this year, UU Justice NC was proud to co-develop and co-lead our movement's first ever rapid response de-escalation network at the polls. Grounded in our shared belief that we keep us safe, we trained over 100 individuals in de-escalation to respond in real time to confirmed reports of intimidation and harassment at the polls. UU clergy and lay leaders worked alongside others in our community safety movement for all 17 days of early voting and on election day. And yesterday alone, we deployed 7 separate de-escalation teams who responded to threats in over a dozen counties across our state. And all of this happened in close collaboration, following the lead of our partners on the ground. This mobile response strategy emerged from our movement's past experiences combating threats from groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers and Moms for Liberty and white Christian nationalist groups at school board meetings and abortion clinics and drag story hours. And we are now already exploring how to use this new rapid response model to become better equipped to respond to future safety threats. That is what UU the Vote is all about. Here's what I want to end with. The story of our movement, at the heart of the story of our movement is not what we are fighting against. It is what we are fighting for. We have the power to keep us safe, to protect our bodily autonomy. We are a movement in North Carolina that embodies radical care and resilience in the way we respond to Hurricane Helene. We are a movement that is changing the material conditions of our people, including expanding Medicaid to over 600,000 people in our state when no one said it was possible. The story of who we are and who we belong to and what we are building together must be stronger than the threats that we face. And right now is a test of the strength of that story. If that loving story is deep enough within us to nourish us and guide us in this moment and in the days to come. I pray that it is. No election night is going to rob me of my power or my hope. And I hope nothing can rob you of yours either. So for what it's worth, this is how I'm approaching this moment. I'm going to grieve and sleep and grieve and sleep and care for myself as if my life depends on it and as if the movement depends on it, because it does. And then in a day or a week or whenever my spirit is ready to move forward, I will get back to it. Because, beloveds, we have work to do. May it be so. Thank you. And now I will pass it over to Lillian for our introduction to our new Community Resilience Hub.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Lillian Drab-Braddock. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm a member of Congregational Life staff in our Southern region, and I'm co-dean of the UU Institute and Learning Lab Leading Center. Tonight, I'm wearing a black jacket. I've got my chalice necklace on, and I'm a white woman. I've got brown curly hair. And I'm really honored to share tonight about the Community Resilience Hub. The Community Resilience Hub was curated with wisdom from across our association featuring timely resources and trainings. We're paying attention to trends and what congregations need right now. These curated resources, they're all in one place and they're easily accessible for this moment that we find ourselves in. The Hub offers a helpful checklist for community resilience, events like this one tonight, and resources for congregations and covenanted communities. The resources can all be found in these 4 groupings, starting with the training, threats from without, care from within, congregational safety in troubled times. This popular training comes to you from the UU Institute, and it's now free and accessible to all. Other sets of resources in the Hub include Congregational Responses to Growing Fascism, featuring clear and concise definitions with a wealth of resources for congregations. Building Resilience with Spiritual Grounding and Soul Care has worship offerings from Worship Lab and Side with Love. And finally, Leadership and Readiness in Troubled Times from the Leader Lab Learning Center. Sincere thanks to everyone who's contributed to this effort. I especially want to lift up Reverend Kathy Ryan Starr and Reverend Renee Rachutsky. Y'all be sure to check out the Community Resilience Hub often for updates, for new resources and events. We're going to be lifting up what you need to meet this moment. Now I'd like to pass it over to Nicole Presley.
Hello, everyone. It is truly great to be with you all this evening. I know this was a space that I myself needed. My name is Nicole Presley. I'm the Director of Organizing Strategy on the Side with Love team at the Unitarian Universalist. I am a Black woman with brown skin and braids that is half golden and half Black and kind of burnt orangey brown cardigan. But I will keep it quick. I have witnessed this community do amazing things. I have witnessed Unitarian Universalists surprise themselves and surprise our partners by leaning into courage, care, and action when the moment has called us to that faithful work. And as we strive to meet this moment, we want to anchor ourselves in the communities and the relationships that foster resilience and liberation. And in order to do that, we together as a national community need to cultivate readiness. We believe that sharing our gifts with one another is a way we live our values of generosity, of equity, as a core part of our religious practice. And so our congregations and faithful communities, we want you to be ready to support one another in your communities, in your neighborhoods, especially for those who may be targeted and at more at risk. So tonight I am sharing with you, and you will hear more about this in the coming days and weeks, but I'm sharing with you our UUA Community Care and Resilience Skills Survey. This survey will allow us to support congregations and communities to lean on one another and collectively resource our movements. And in order to do that, we are asking each of you to let us know how you can support. This survey has everything from asking you if you have experience being a song leader to experience being a street medic. Everything from being an artist to a clinic escort. All of us have beautiful and necessary roles in this work. It will take time. It will take care. But I believe that we will rise to this moment together. So please check out the survey, share it with your congregations and fellow UUs. You will be hearing more from us to make sure we can get the fullness of our community filling out this survey so that we can best support our collective communities and congregations and resourcing each other in these times. Thank you. And I will pass it back to Sofía for our final prayer.
Thank you so much, Nicole, and thank you to everyone who has held space in community this evening. I am so grateful for the ways that we can be together, particularly in times like these. Thank you to everyone who came together so quickly to hold sacred space. Beloveds, may we wrap all that has been useful to us, different to each of us, all that has been useful to us this evening around like a living shield. May we lean into the strength that is born of connection. May we honor and embrace the various calls this morning to radical, not morning, this evening, calls to radical rest, calls to mutual aid, calls to resource sharing, to the power of community. Please, in those moments when your instinct is to isolate, check in once again. Sometimes we need that, and often it is born of fear or anxiety or despair. If you have it in you to reach out, reach out. If you have it in you to check on your beloveds, check on your beloveds. May we remember that our interdependence, when it is mutual, when it is intentional, when it is generous and justice-oriented and grounded in equity, when it is transformational, that interdependence saves us and saves lives. May you know your own worthiness, your sacredness, the ways that you are whole. May you know the strength and resilience that can never actually be taken away, the foundational, inherent goodness that makes us who and what we are. May the love that guides and connects us abide with you, abide with your communities, and offer strength for the journey ahead. There is much to be done, beloveds, and we need you as the good gift that you are. Believe me when you hear the words, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You are the bearers of love and justice that this world needs. May you know that ever to be true. May that clarity never be taken from you. And may the ways that you hold one another return to you threefold as we continue on this journey together. I have every faith in us, loves, less faith in our nation this evening. But the work that calls us is worthwhile. It is ongoing, and it is a work that our ancestors and our holy ones have known. So as we depart this evening, may we take every drop of goodness from this space on our way. And may it nourish you in the night, in the meeting, in the prayer space, in the streets ahead. I love you. Go in the greatest peace. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.